You are now tuning into the Resilient Podcast. Enjoy the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 10 of the Resilient Podcast. I am your host, Rob Aurelius, and man, today is going to be a very interesting episode. I can't believe that we are at 10 episodes. You know, I feel like I've started this podcast a long time ago, and the first episode was only shot in April, a little bit after WrestleMania 40, when I came back from Philadelphia. And, you know, you got to celebrate those small milestones. And that's what I want to do here. I want to celebrate 10 episodes. It may be a small milestone, but it's something for me. Because a few months ago, when I started this podcast with my former co-host, Josh, and then he left after 2 episodes, I almost decided not to do this podcast anymore. And, you know, one of the things that he said to me was, don't stop the podcast because I'm leaving. Keep doing it. You're going to do great. So here we are, 10 episodes, and I feel good. First and foremost, I want to say to everyone, happy new month. It is the first week of September, and September is a special month for me because of 9/11, which will be next week, and because we celebrate Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. This is a big charity, a big organization that I'm a part of for the last few years. You see this bracelet that looks like preschool stuff? It's called Connor's Cure. Connor's Cure was created by WWE, I believe in 2012. And I could be wrong, like the year that Connor's Cure started, but it's one of my favorite causes. Childhood cancer awareness. Every year, I team up with Connor's Cure, with the WWE, with the Foundation, and I help raise awareness for childhood cancer. For those of you that know me very well, know that I am a big children person. I love kids. I don't have any of my own. Not sure if I ever will have any of my own, but I love kids. I love children. I really do. Children are the future of tomorrow, and we got to take care of them. We really do. And before I get into my episode, I just want to say that last month was very interesting. There's a reason why this episode is called 6 Months into Healing. But last month was very interesting. Last month, on the 18th of August, it made a year since I met my ex-girlfriend in Philadelphia. I was in Philly with my photographer, videographer, Diego, and we shot scenes of the Resilience Project, which is the documentary that I've been talking to you all about for the last few months. And I relived pretty much everything that I did a year before on August 18th of 2023 when I went to Philadelphia for the first time to meet Ashley, my ex-girlfriend. It wasn't the first time I went to Philadelphia, but it was the first time that I went to go, that I saw her in person and I went to go see her. And I didn't get a chance to talk about it much in the last episode, because the last episode I had Oscar Leal on the Resilient Podcast, technically my second guest. If you want to add Josh, even though Josh was like the first person that I interviewed on here, technically the second guest, but pretty much the third guest. So it was very difficult when I was out there. Diego said to me, if you don't want to do this, we don't have to. We could just shoot other scenes back home in New York or other places, but we don't have to be here. I know it's difficult for you. And I said, Diego, I'm going to do it. And I can't wait for the scenes that we shot to be seen by the public when this documentary is finalized. I did have a few people ask me, actually a few days ago, when is the documentary coming out? I don't have a date, but I do want to say that Diego and I intend to finish shooting the documentary at some point next year. I apologize in advance if I get a little tongue twisted here and I say things and then I cut myself short because it's not what I mean to say. I just had some coffee. It's morning time here in New York City, and I'm a little over caffeinated right now, but I'm excited. I'm excited because it's September. See, there it goes. I'm excited because it's September. I'm excited because it's Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. I'm excited because I get to share with you what happened when I was out in Philadelphia. So August 18th, that was a Sunday this year. And I went out to Philadelphia. I relived literally everything that I did when I went out there to meet my ex-girlfriend for the first time. I met her in Center City, downtown. I went to the corner where we met. It was hard to hold back the tears because as soon as I got, and people are going to think I'm crazy for saying this, but as soon as I got to that specific corner where her car was parked, I felt something in my chest and I was like, this is the spot where she was at. She picked me up. She rolled down her window. I was just staring into the car, looking at her. And I said to myself, wow, it's really her. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't getting catfished. And I know it's a stupid thing to say, but I was just so happy that it was her, that it was the girl from the photos. Not like I hadn't FaceTime with her before I met her in person, but I just wanted to make sure that the girl that I spoke to on the phone and FaceTime is the same girl that I was going to meet. And it was exactly that. And then from there, we moved on to our first destination, which was the Rocky Steps. I had never seen the Rocky Steps in Philadelphia. I had been to Philadelphia so many times in the past, but never went to the Rocky Steps. And she took me to the Rocky Steps. And we took our first photo there. I still have these photos on my phone. And it's been 6 months, almost 7 months. This month of September, it's going to be 7 months since we broke up. And I still have all of our photos together, every single one of them. And people have, and I'm going to address this situation in this episode, but people have said to me, listen, move on. There's no reason to have these photos. There's no reason to do this. There's no reason to have that. I'm going to get into it. I'm going to get into what is going on with me and how I feel about everything that people are saying to me. So I was there Sunday. Monday, we didn't shoot any content. Monday, we just took time for ourselves because Sunday was so long. It rained just a little bit. I didn't record at any moment when it was raining. Like every time we saw that it rained, we stopped because Diego didn't have enough stuff to protect his equipment from the rain. And as soon as the sun came out again and the rain stopped, we went right back to filming. And Monday, like I said, was a chill day for us. And then Tuesday, I woke up and Oscar, who was on the previous episode, had done a video for me. And it was a video that I wanted to send to my ex-girlfriend. It was a video that had we still been together, I would have added way more photos, especially current photos. So some of the photos that are in that video are from the very end of our relationship, which was, we didn't get any photos in 2024, but the last photo we took was Christmas Day 2023. We took a selfie together. It was the last photo we took together as a couple. Because when I saw her in February, we didn't take any photos. And that was the last time I saw her. But Tuesday was rough. I saw the video. Diego recorded me watching it from the hotel that I was in, and I cried. I couldn't hold the tears back. The song I used, and I'm not going to tell you guys which song I used, but I will say that it's an Anita Baker song, and Anita Baker songs hit hard. And my ex-girlfriend was a fan of Anita Baker, is a fan of Anita Baker, and it's a beautiful song. But man, Sunday was tough. Sunday to the very end, till the evening time was tough. There was a lot going on Sunday. There was a concert at the stadium, at Eagle Stadium. Pink was performing. I saw so many people wearing pink, and I was just trying to film my content of me standing in front of the stadium and looking at the words Lincoln Financial. And I wanted to get out of there. And, Diego and I did what we needed to do when we got out of there. But all these beautiful people wearing pink. And all I could think to myself is, imagine if my ex-girlfriend is coming to this concert tonight and she doesn't even know that we are close to each other, but at the same time far apart. But then I said, you know what? Maybe not. Maybe, she's tied up. I don't know where she is. I don't know if she's even in Philly right now because, I want to assume that she has been training for this career of hers. But man, it was tough. It was tough, man. And Sunday, I cried. And I'll tell you where I cried the most. There's a campus in Drexel University, a little area, right, where there's like a few things. There's a Chipotle out there. There's a 7-Eleven. I believe it's a Aunt Annie's or Aunt Anne's, however you say it. And there's a insomnia cookie shop. And when Diego and I pulled out of the cab and I got into that area, I could not stop crying. And Diego goes, what happened? What happened here? Well, what's the memory that you have from here? And I said, she took me here that Friday, because August 18th last year was on a Friday. And I was like, she took me here. It was our final stop for the day. My Amtrak was later in the evening, and we bought some insomnia cookies. And after we came from South Street, and we were just hanging out and we were talking. And unfortunately, I can't remember our conversation. I can't remember what we talked about when we were sitting at that campus area. But I remember after that, she took me to the train station, Amtrak, and I was on my merry way back to New York. And Sunday, I cried, especially when we wrapped up. And I said, man, Diego, love really, 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 really can hurt. And he goes, well, Rob, love does what it does. It could make you feel pain. It can make you feel love. um, I don't know. He's like, but listen, man, I'm really hoping that this journey of yours gets better. And I said, yeah, man, me too. So I was so much in mental pain that we shot we went on a trip to Providence because we went to Providence, Rhode Island at the end of the month of August for an episode of Monday Night Raw, and we shot some content out there. And I said to Diego, after this, we need to take a break from filming. And Diego's like, I get it, guys. I want you to understand something. A year later, I was not expecting to not be with her. A year later, like that message that I wrote to her in the video that I sent her, and I even posted that message that I wanted to post on social media. Actually, I did post it on social media, but the message I posted um, was what I wanted to tell her if we were still together. And even though it confused a lot of people, because some people reached out to me who were aware of the situation and said, wait, did you guys get back together? And some people were like, why would you post that? You know, you guys are not together. Did you post it for her to see it? And I said, I posted it to share with people how much I love this person and how much I miss this person. And if it can help someone who's in a similar situation as me, why not? If it can motivate someone, if it can inspire someone, listen, let me say something. I am a storyteller. I am a content creator. Some of the stuff I'm going to create and post is not going to always be positive. It's going to be sad. It's going to be dark. Please don't take it personal. Please don't come at me and say, don't post this, don't post that. I do understand that most people want to be mindful of the content that they consume on social media. But I promise you that everything I post, even the sad stuff, it's for a purpose. It's to tell a story. And I am by no means trying to trigger anyone, by no means trying to upset anyone. And this is why this episode is called 6 Months into Healing. But what I really want to call it is Taking My Time. And this title reflects on my focus on the importance of allowing myself the time that I need to heal, while also marking the 6-month milestone since the breakup. So let's talk about that, right? 6 months after the breakup, I want to talk about reflecting on the passage of time. And I want to focus on the significance of the breakup itself. 6 months. I was not expecting 6 months to go by with me not speaking to her. You know, I want to talk about taking control of my own healing, because this is my healing. This is my healing journey, not your healing journey, not her. Her healing journey may be different if she even has a healing journey, but I'm talking about my healing journey, which I'm entitled to. So I want to take control of my healing journey process and resisting external pressures. So this is what I want to talk to you guys about, because someone asked me a few weeks ago when they saw my posts, they said, how does it feel now that it's been 6 months since the breakup? And I remember saying to them, 6 months may seem like a long time to some, but for me, it still feels short because the year isn't over. The emotional journey is ongoing, and it's important to honor the time it takes to heal, regardless of what others may think. And that person was like, okay, I respect that. And, 6 months may seem like a long time, like I said, but remember, everybody's journey is different. Everybody's healing process is different. Some people could get over someone. I was talking to a friend the same night that I was supposed to make a year with my ex-girlfriend. And I had asked my friend, how long did it take you to get over your ex-boyfriend? And her response to me was, I was already over him when I broke up with him. I already had emotionally checked out, because most women have the tendency of emotionally checking out of a relationship before they actually physically break up with the person. And she said to me, I was already like detached 3 months before we broke up. And I said, wow, that's interesting. And that same person said to me, why do you believe 6 months is not a long time for healing? Because the next day, the 21st of August, I wanted to spend the day happy. And, it was my best friend's birthday. Him and his twin sister, they turned 38 just like me. And of course, I was, excited that it was my friend's birthday. But at the same time, I was sad because I said, man, it's been 6 months since we broke up. I was not expecting that. I was expecting maybe a few months to go by, or not even a few months, but a few weeks to go by, and that we could be able to talk about this. But it's been 6 months, and it hurts. And I said, healing is a deeply personal process that doesn't follow a set timeline. 6 months is just a fraction of time compared to the significance of the relationship and the impact that it had on my life. I believe in allowing myself the space to fully process and heal at my own pace. I don't see anything wrong with that. And I want to talk about the conversation I had with my therapist. We were talking about navigating external pressures from these people that are like, move on, move on. It's been a long time, move on. Stop talking about her. I even had my sister, my youngest sibling, reach out to me on the 21st of August, and she sent me this long message, and she was like deeply concerned about me. And I responded to her, and I told her, I'm okay. I'm not good. I'm not great. But I said to her, like, I appreciate your concern. Thank you for showing concern in me. I know that you care about your brother, but let me deal with this at my pace, because it's not your life. It's not your story. It's not your pain. It's mine. And respectfully, I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. And I'm going to do my very best not to give up and do something wrong, but please grant me the time that I need to do what I need to do to move on, and move on as safe as possible. Because I feel like sometimes people move on rapidly, and then they start having these issues where they start dating again, they start meeting people, and next thing you know, this person became a rebound, or all these things. And it's like, I'm not trying to do any of that stuff. I'm not trying to do any of that stuff. Please understand that by the time I am moved on and I am detached from my ex, it's because I am ready to either love again, or, while that time goes by, I'm also, not only am I healing, but I'm also working on myself. So my therapist asked me, all these people have said all these things to you. So how have you dealt with external pressures or opinions about how long healing should take? And I was so annoyed. And I told my therapist, I've chosen to focus on what feels right for me rather than letting others dictate my healing journey. I cannot let others dictate my healing journey, not my ex, not anyone. And I said, look, it's easy for people to suggest what they think is best, right? But only I truly understand how I feel. It's me. I'm living it. It's my story. Again, it's my heartbreak. I was the one dating Ashley, not them. I was the one that was in love with her, not them. I was the one that saw a future with her and wanted to marry her, not them. So I said, listen, it's easy for people to, again, suggest what they think is best for me, right? And I know that sometimes it comes from a place where people genuinely care about me and they don't want to see me sad. And some people are just, maybe they went through the same situation and they realized that their healing journey was not what they wanted it to be. And now it's like they want to see their healing journey the way they wanted their healing journey through me. It's like parents. Sometimes your parents are so tough on you and want you to become something so bad because maybe they wanted to do it themselves and they failed at it. So now they're trying to replicate that through their children, you know? And again, I appreciate people that are concerned. I appreciate people that really, truly care about me and care about my well being. So I told my therapist, I've learned to tune out the noise and give myself permission to take as long as I need. And that's how it's going to be for the rest of this healing journey. Then I believe I was talking to my friend James. James has been like one of my spiritual advisors through this journey. James is actually part of the podcast. Sorry, not part of the podcast. He's part of the documentary. James is going to be on the podcast someday, so don't worry about it. You guys will hear from James. But James has been very instrumental in my healing process. And it was James that said, I understand everything, but I have a question to ask you. And he said to me, he asked me actually, he says, what advice would you give to others who might feel pressure to move on quickly? And I said, ooh, that's a big one. And I said, James, my advice is to listen to your own heart and mind. Listen to your own heart and mind, not other hearts, because you can't listen to other hearts and you can't listen to other minds. You're not those people, just like they're not me. And I said to him, healing isn't a race and there's no right timeline. It's essential to do what feels best for you and not rush the process. Why rush the process? So, like I said, not rush the process because of other people's expectations. Folks, I want to make something clear. Please take the time you need and don't be afraid to set boundaries with those who may not understand what you're going through. You know that most of the time when someone is telling you to move on, sometimes a small percentage of those people went through almost the same thing that you went through. Majority of the time, some of those people never went through a breakup. They never had their hearts broken. They never, sorry, I'm adjusting my mic, but most of these people never went through that. They never went through that. So, like I said, folks, it's your journey. Don't let others don't let others write your story for you. Don't let others hold the pen for you. This is your story. This is your narration. You get to dictate how this ends. You have that power. So, I mentioned to you guys that James is part of the documentary. So I wanted to share an update. And I wanted to tell you how much fun we've been having. And, we're making steady progress. Sorry. This caffeine. But we're making steady progress with this documentary. The journey has been both challenging and rewarding. And when I'm telling you it's been challenging, folks. But we're capturing some powerful stories of resilience because remember, this is not just about my breakup with my ex. This is about resilience. That's why it's called the Resilience Project. And the project is evolving as we delve deeper into the themes of healing and personal strength. And I'm excited to see how it's coming together. I'm so excited. So I was talking to my neighbor the other day. He lives in my building and he's been doing video and photography for years. And I asked him, hey, have you ever done a documentary? He was like, yeah, I did like 4 or 5 documentaries. And he said to me, um, how has your work, what was it that he asked me? He had said something like, how has working on the documentary influenced your own healing process? And I was like, oh, wasn't expecting that question. And I said to him, well, working on the Resilience Project has been therapeutic in many ways. Believe it or not, it's allowed me to connect with people who are also on their own journeys of healing. And it's given me a sense of purpose. Remember, when I started this podcast, the reason why I asked Josh to be my partner for the podcast as a co-host is because Josh was on his own journey of healing. And that's mainly why I created this podcast, is because I want to connect with people that are in the same situation as me, sometimes people on the same boat, and just, see how we can help one another along our own journeys, So I said, it's a reminder that resilience is a continuous process and it's okay to take time to rebuild. Remember that, people. Always, always remember that it's okay to take time to rebuild. So, looking ahead, back to the 6 months, I want to talk about what my plans are for the next 6 months in the terms of healing and this documentary. And in terms of healing, I plan to continue taking it one day at a time. It's something that Diego spoke to me about when I spoke to him on the phone. He says, Rob, take it one day at a time. Take it one day at a time. And I said, I will. I'm going to take it one day at a time, allowing myself to feel whatever emotions come up without rushing. That's something that my therapist told me to do. And that's something that my friend Estefania told me to do. Allow yourself to feel what you need to feel, whatever it is. And like I said, I'm not going to rush. There's no reasons for rushing. This is my healing journey. So for the documentary, we're aiming to wrap up filming, like I mentioned to you guys, sometime next year, and move into the editing phase as soon as we wrap up with that. Reason why is because I want to put out this story as soon as I can. And by the time I put out this story, I could already be, in a better place mentally, emotionally, physically. I've noticed some weight loss, and I don't know if it's a good thing. My diabetes, I've been trying to control it. During the summertime, I didn't do too much. I didn't go out much. I didn't eat too much. I traveled, lightly, and I'll be traveling a little bit next month in October when I go to Atlanta, and I'll be going to Philly as well because there's a show out in Philly. Still don't know if I'm going to go to that one or not, but it's a possibility. And I'm looking forward to seeing the final product and sharing it with the world. I really do. And I have a message for you all that tune into the Resilient Podcast. And I want to share a message with you all that are, thinking about your own healing journeys. And this is the message that I want to share with you all. This is my message to the world. Because remember, at the end of the podcast, I always share a message with the world. This is my message. My message to everyone that is going through something right now and they're healing. I want to remind all of you that healing is a personal journey and that it can't be dictated by others. It just can't. Take your time, trust your process, and don't be afraid to go against the grain if it means taking care of yourself. Resilience is about more than just bouncing back. It's about honoring your own pace and journey. Please remember that always, my friends. As we wrap up today's episode, I want to remind everyone again that healing is deeply a personal journey. In my case, 6 months might seem like a long time to some, but for me, it's just the beginning. Healing doesn't follow a set timeline, and it's important to honor your own pace. Regardless of what others might think or say, the past 6 months have been about giving myself permission to feel every emotion. And I encourage you all listening to this podcast right now that may be going through something to please do the same. Remember, it's okay to take your time, to set boundaries, and to prioritize your well-being over external pressures. Folks, healing is not about how quickly you can move on. It's not about that, but about how fully you can process and grow from the experience. I want to thank everyone that has tuned into the Resilient Podcast, because in the beginning of this episode, I mentioned how this is episode number 10. I want to thank you all for this small milestone and your continued support and interest in the Resilient Podcast and now the Resilience Project. I'm making progress. I know I am. And I can't wait to share the final product with everyone, again, from the Resilient Project. I keep talking about this project because, man, I think this is going to be the greatest thing I ever create. The day that I die, I want people to remember me by the Resilient Project. When Martin Luther King passed away, everybody remembered him as the man who said, "I have a dream." When Rosa Parks passed away, everybody remembered her as the woman who refused to give up her seat. We stand for something. And it's important to stand for something. This documentary is a testament to the strength we all have within us to overcome challenges. I get emotional and I'm excited to bring these stories of resilience to light. So, folks, as you go about your own healing journey, remember that it's okay to take your time. I can't stress it enough. Trust in the process. People say that a lot, right? Trust in the process, trust the process, trust the process. So I am telling you, trust in the process. Trust in your process. And know that you have the strength to get through it, no matter how long it takes. So right now, Let me see if I can make it over there. I'm going to step away from my microphone for a bit. Give me a second, because I just got a text message from a friend of mine. His name is Jab, and he is actually making some merch for me. And I'm going to talk to you guys about the merch in a second. But you see that bottle back there? For those that watch on YouTube, there's a bottle of Terramana there. And I have something else that I want to share with you all. I'll say it again, just in case the microphone got cut off. I have something else that I want to share with you all. So, folks, you know that Terramana is my favorite tequila, and it's the Añejo, which is the best one. So, here's the thing. First and foremost, I want to reach out to the WWE, my family, and thank them for this beautiful Funko Pop of The Rock, the final boss. This Funko Pop is my first Funko Pop ever. Speaking about Funko Pop, I made a Funko Pop for my ex-girlfriend, and it was a Funko Pop of her. There was a promotion going around a while ago. I believe it was during the holidays, if I'm not mistaken, from last year, or it could have been earlier this year, but I think it was during the holidays. Maybe it was around Valentine's. I can't really remember. And Funko was allowing you to create your own Funko Pop. And I created a Funko of her. I wish I would have created two of her, because I always wanted to keep one. But that's fine. Maybe someday I can create a Funko of her and keep it for keepsake, for memories. But this Funko Pop is The Rock. And for those of you who can see it, some of you probably have it already. It's a WrestleMania 40 Funko Pop, and it's a Fanatics exclusive, so it's not available for everywhere. And it's The Rock, the final boss. This is what The Rock looked like when he came out WrestleMania 1 with his cousin Roman to go against Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins at the main event of WrestleMania Night 1. So this is The Rock right here. It's beautiful. And this is Funko 168. So I don't know how many of these they made. Let's just say they made 200. I'm 168. The goal one day is to have Dwayne The Rock Johnson, like he signed this bottle right here. See how this bottle of Terramana has his autograph on it? I wanted his autograph on this Funko Pop as well, too. I'm sorry for those that listen to this on audio and don't see it on YouTube, but if you guys want to start seeing what I show during the podcast, just just watch it on YouTube. We're on YouTube. Just look us up. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, The Resilient Podcast. And remember to always follow us on X. First time I say that, because I usually say Twitter, but follow us on X, follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok at The Resilient Pod. But a quicker way to get there is just go on my website, arcgmedia.com/The Resilient Pod. And the reason why I have the Terramana out here is because I want to make a toast to the journey that I've been on. I want to make a toast to everybody that has supported me during this journey. I appreciate you all from the bottom of my heart. I'm going to have a Terramana toast for everyone. And I also want to make a toast to my friend Megaran. It's his birthday. Megaran's definitely going to be a guest on this podcast at some point. But yeah, Megaran is a very good friend of mine, and you guys will hear his story at some point. But here's a toast to everything. To my ex, I hope that she is finally doing the job that she wanted, the career that she wanted. To everyone that's healing from things they don't talk about, this shot of Terramana is for you all. Salud. Folks, it's been a beautiful journey. I started off the year heartbroken, and there's going to be some more heartbroken moments for the rest of the year, but I'm doing my very best to keep a smile on my face always. Life is too short. And I just want to tell you all from the bottom of my heart that I love everyone, no matter who you are. This is why I tell people, because I got it from my friend from WWE, Adam Pierce, love somebody today. Love yourself first, but then go out there and love somebody. Everybody needs love. Life is too short, folks. Please don't fight. Please, if you have something going on, if you have an issue with someone, apologize to them. Reach out, hug your significant others, give them a kiss, hug your children, give them a kiss, hug your husbands, wives, parents. Please, folks, please. I'm wearing this bracelet from Connor's Cure because every day a child dies from cancer and that child doesn't get to live their life. I'm 38 years old. I am not in the best shape. I'm currently dealing with an elevated liver because the enzymes are, bad because of my diabetes, but I am doing my best and I am counting my blessings because for every child that dies from cancer, leukemia, I wear this bracelet in honor of them. So, folks, remember that life is short. Love yourself. Love everyone. If you're going through a hard times don't last forever. Find resilience. I promise you it's worth it. And remember, one life to live it well. Thank you for tuning into episode 10 of the Resilient Podcast. I look forward to episode 11. For now, I am Rob Aurelius. And once again, I love you all from the bottom of my heart. I'll see you all soon. God bless and peace.